Hello, hello, everybody. How are you on this Friday evening? Are you ready to paint? How's your week been? I love the music. I always play soothing music for the dogs. I know I love my intro music. I've changed it a couple times, but I always come back to that specific one because I just love it. I'm gonna see if I can get some glare off my face. I don't think that's gonna happen because I need the bright lights for tonight. So I'm a little washed out here. Plus I don't have any makeup. Still not doing the makeup thing because of my eye. It's I'd say 98% better, but I'm gonna give it a little bit longer. We have had crazy weather here. I'm just gonna talk a couple of minutes till more people come on. It's been so windy. Last Friday, we stayed with our grandkids, spent the night at their house, taking care of them, staying with them, and helping with their animals. And we had a tornado warning while we were there. But our 12-year-old grandson was awesome. He got everybody together, and the animals took them down to the basement, except for the dog. They have an older dog that's a little bit hard to. He can't do the stairs, so we had to carry him down the stairs. But he did great. He did really great. Oh, Donnie had a slow week and ready for the weekend. I am so ready for the weekend too. Hello from Albany, New York. Is it Elkie? I hope I said that right. I apologize if I said it incorrectly. But then we went to see family in Kansas on Sunday and came back Wednesday, and the wind since last Friday has just been horrible. Just been so strong, and it's constant. It was constant. And when we got back Wednesday, a neighbor's tree limb fell on our patio roof and messed up our guttering. So we're going to have someone come and look at that and give us an estimate on fixing that next week. Still windy today. We're done with wind. We're ready for it to be calm and just nice days. 70s, then 40s, then 50s and 60s. That's kind of been us over the weekend. Well, Monday, I think. Monday we had really nice weather, but it was still just incredible winds. Wednesday when we drove home, oh, it was horrible. The winds over by Joplin, Missouri got up to almost 70 miles an hour, and we were driving in that, and it was hard to drive in that wind. My husband did a great job, but man, it's just blowing hard. Hello from Pennsylvania, Paula. Oh, so today we've been in the 60s, and yesterday we were in the 50s. So, oh yeah, we're just ready for some normal spring weather. But the grass grew enough that my husband actually had to mow it today. So, hello Veronica and Sylvie. Windy as well in Illinois. Yes, it's just been the most ridiculous wind ever. So we're supposed to get rain this weekend, which I don't mind a rainy Sunday afternoon because I like to just sit around and not really do anything on Sunday. So unless we have the grandkids, then we're busy. Oh man. Okay, are you guys excited about this one? I'm going to show you some of the ones I've done here in a second, and then we're going to get right into it. It's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to put myself up in the corner. And we are going to get started. Okay, I might need my lights. Okay. This is them plain. Let me bring in the ones I've painted to refresh your memory here of all the ones I've done. Okay, so here they are. I did this blue one here about 12 years ago. It was the very first one I did. And I have searched for these openers for years to try and get them so I can make them available to you. Finally have found them. I did this one just the other day, or last week. I did it one day last week. And this one I did probably last Thursday or so. This one was super fast. This one is my favorite for me. It's my favorite because it looks like an old piece of wood, and I love antiques, and this just, you know, makes me think of an antique. And then I did this one. We're going to do one similar to this one tonight. I'm going to put the video up for you guys on this tomorrow, and it's about a 45-minute video. It's not super long. And then this one's even shorter, maybe 30 minutes. I'll put this one up on Sunday so you can see it and see the different ways that I paint them. You can paint them any way that you want. Now this one here, I don't, there's no pattern for it. So you can use just any letters on your computer that you want to use. But if someone really, really wants these letters, I can put them on my website under my free line drawing, and it's only going to be a piece of paper with these letters on it, nothing else. You know, it'll just be the letters. So if you're interested in these letters, let me know. I will try to get those on there tomorrow, and so you can just have the free line drawing for the letters. But let me know what you think about having those. But those are the ones that I have done. A couple of these will be giveaways at Palooza, and then I'm going to start doing giveaways for my lives, so I'm going to have to work that out. What I'm going to do is take everyone's name that leaves a comment tonight, and I will put them on the wheel, the wonderful wheel that chooses a name. And then when I have my next live, I will announce that person's name. If they do not contact me within 24 hours with their information, I will do another name. I'll just do that one time and do another name. And if that person doesn't contact me, then I'll just save it back for a drawing some other time. But if my drawings will only be for inside the United States, so I'm sorry about that. But if you live outside of the United States and I do draw your name, I'm happy to send you some PDF files of some packets that you may want. So you won't lose. You just won't get anything shipped to you. So I'm sorry about that, but that's kind of how it has to be right now. All right, so get these out of the way. We are going to, oh no, it's stuck on my finger. We're going to get the one, you really like the one with the black, with the love. Yes, I had lots of votes for that one, but this one kind of outwon. And since I didn't have a video for this one, I thought, well, I'll just put this video up so everybody can see it. And we'll just do this one live, and I'll show you how I did it, because it's a completely different style of painting on that one. So this is how they come in colors, or some of mine are kind of see-through with just a tint of color on them, but they're just random colors. When you order them, you don't have an option for color. It's just random colors. I just grab one out of the container and ship it to you, or 5. I've had a lot of people order 5 and 6. So right now I have 16 of these on my website left, but if I get down to like 5 or 6, I will order some more in, and you know, make sure that they're on the website available for you. Hi Judy, you love them all. Veronica, me too. I love them all, and I use this one. I use all the time. It's got a little paint on it from bottles, but none of my paint has chipped off. It's held up very well for 12 years. I want to point out before we get started, there's these little bumps. Let me get it in the camera shot so you can see it. See those little bumps on there? They're I don't know why they're on there, to be honest with you. You don't really need it. I mean, it goes in your hand, your thumb is just automatically going to go there so you can pry it up. But, you know, it's just the plastic that they have dotted on there. So I remove those. I'm going to show you how to remove them. You do not have to remove them if you don't want to, but if you're doing the love word, you really need those off so that they're not in the way of the letter E. So I'm going to show you how to take them off. There's a few ways that you can do it. I've done it all 3 of these ways, so any way that you find that is easy for you, I say do it that way. So the first way that you can do it is a utility knife. And I like this because it's a really thin blade. And I do sell these utility knives on my website. So you just want to go where a bump is and just take the blade across that bump and just knock it off. Okay? So you can use that. I'll finish using that here in a second. You can use one of these, you know, just a razor blade. It doesn't have to be in a holder, but I find it's easier. You can buy these at Harbor Freight, a bag of them. So when I have this, because it's bigger, I take it this way and knock them off this direction. And then I've used my putty knife. Just same thing. I just knock them off with the putty knife. But I really like this little thin blade mostly because it's sharp and it knocks them off pretty easily. You just don't want to feel any raised area on there. This one's still doesn't feel like I got it all off. So just knock them off. You know, if you feel a slight stuff on there, that's okay. You just don't want those big bumps. And you can take a sanding pad like the ones that I sell and lightly sand over these. I just want to make sure it's smooth. They're very, very easy to get off, so don't think they're difficult. They are not. They're pretty easy. Okay, that feels pretty smooth. So those are some ways that you can knock those right off of there. And if you want them off, you don't have to take them off. It can be something that you leave on there, you know. It's not going to hurt anything for them to be left on there. Okay, I want to take some rubbing alcohol and wipe it down just to make sure I don't have any stuff on it, oils or anything. You know, if I got some chips on that, I can wipe it off and just clean it up. Hi, Sue. Hi, Lori. Are those heavy? They look like they are heavy. They are very thick plastic, so they're not heavy, but they are a decent weight. I mean, they're not flimsy by any means. They are a good weight. So, all right, that's good enough. Alrighty. So the first thing that we're going to do to this is apply some paint adhesion medium. Now, I prefer using this, but if you don't have it or can't find it or don't want to order it from DecoArt, which DecoArt right now is having 30% off of their Americana paints, and that's a better coupon than you can get from me. So you might want to go to DecoArt and check out their Americana paints if you want some. But you can use the coupon. I think you can still use the coupon code from me on top of that for like this if you want to order the paint adhesion medium. So the link is in the description below. This is what I'm going to use because it's what I used on all my others, and I know how well it works. If you don't have it, you can use this. But, and I think it should hold up really well even with just this. But I don't know because all of mine I have prepared them with this. The thing about these bottle openers is your prep and your finish are the two most important things to do. How you prep it, you've got to be good with your prep, and it must be done. I know there's a lot of other paints out there that say they will stick to anything. But I'm not going to chance it because I'm going to be prying on bottles all the time. And if I got this painted up nice and pretty, I sure don't want my paint all chipped up here, you know, where I'm prying on bottles and stuff. I want it to be just as pretty as the rest of it. Okay? So, you know, it's up to you whether you want to use another paint and not use a prep for the surface or not. I cannot guarantee how well the paint will adhere to it in the long run. Okay, I'm sure it will stick to it, but I don't know about the long run. So I highly recommend this product. I have used it a lot, but you could probably get by with using this if you have it and don't have this, but I recommend that one. Okay, let's get our stuff over here, and we're just going to put a coat of paint adhesion medium on here. It says on the bottle to mix it with your paint, and I've always just applied it directly to the surface and never had any trouble with it. But my first layer of paint, I might mix some in with it. I don't know. I'm going to just go straight with this because that's just how I did. That's just how I did all my other stuff. So, except for my Love one. In my Love one, I did mix it with the, I think with the second coat, with the black paint. I put a coat on of just the paint adhesion medium, and then when I put my second coat of paint adhesion medium on, I mixed it with my black paint and just started with my black paint. And I just used Americana paint on all of these. I didn't use any special paint. The only special paint that I used was on the letters here, on the Love letters. I used the new Love paints that DecoArt has, so you could use that coupon of mine. Use the link below, and the code is right underneath the link. And you can get your Love paints. I don't know if there's anything else on sale at DecoArt, but I know that they sent out a ad today that said that it was on sale. They had 30% off Americana. Okay, so it was starting to dry right there and get a little tacky. So I'm gonna just set dry this because I want to be able to handle the top part of this so that I can move down and do the bottom one. Well, hi, Miss Laura. So glad you stopped by. My sweet friend Laura. Love her to death. It's afternoon where you're at, Judy, huh? So I'm just going to kind of dry this so I can handle it. Now I have used this paint adhesion medium on an area in my home where we had to apply just wall paint. When we moved into this house, we had a plastic corner piece on the wall that would not come off without damaging the wall. So I had to get the paint adhesion medium on it the night before the painter came so he could be able to just paint right over it. And knock on wood, it's still doing well. All right, let me flip this over. Let's put some down here. So I did the top. Now make sure you don't have a lot of moisture in your brush. You do need a damp brush so it will release the medium, but you don't want a lot of moisture. So if you're painting this on, you're getting a lot of bubbles, just go wipe your brush on your paper towel and remove some of that moisture out. And then if you get any kind of globby areas, make sure you smooth them out and remove them before you dry it, because it will cause a raised area on your surface here, and you don't want that because it won't be nice and smooth like you want it to be. So I could have had this done ahead of time, but I really wanted to show you how to do all of this. Okay. It's a little tacky, which is fine. It's a little warm. I don't want to apply paint on it while it's warm, and you know why, don't you? I've said it in many videos. If you apply paint to your project right after you heat set something and it is still hot or warm, it's going to immediately heat set your paint right to your project. And if you want to move the paint or take some off later, or whatever, you can't do it because it's already dried to the piece. All right, I'm going to do a quick second coat here. just because I want to make sure I've covered all my areas. That's the only reason I'm doing a second coat. I want to make sure I haven't missed any place on here. Getting this adhesion medium on here. So it's just the second coat's just a thin layer. I'm just making sure that everything is dry. I mean, everything is covered and everything is smooth. I don't want any thick areas of adhesion medium on here. Although the kind of technique we're going to be doing to this one probably won't really matter because we're going to be using a sponge to apply our paint. On my other ones, I just used a paintbrush and applied it straight on there. But I wanted a modeled look in the background so that when I put my spooky little scene on there, it looked like a night sky. Okay, just want to make sure I can touch it. Okay, this part's not hot since I was heating that part up there. But if this part got hot on you while you were doing it, let it cool down. Alright, let me get a quick another coat on here and we're going to get busy with some paint. This is really an easy project here. And again, the instructions on the bottle say to mix it with your paint. But, you know, I've always had good luck just doing it this way. This kind of does the same thing that multi-purpose does to wood. You know, it makes it so the paint sticks to the surface and kind of gives the surface a little bit of a seal so that it's not, the paint's not going to just slide right off of there. Alright, let me rinse this brush out. Have any of you tried paint adhesion medium? And if you have, what kind of results did you get with it? Hello, Cheryl. It's okay that you're late. You haven't missed much. I've just took the little bumps off, those little bumps off, and you know, I put my paint adhesion medium on there. Alright, I'm going to put gloves on just because I won't be able to go wash my hands when I get done here. I think I'll leave it off of that hand, maybe. Although that's the hand that's may end up getting paint all over it. I just don't want to touch this with that. Okay, so let me tell you what colors I did on this one. So if any of you want to do this color, I use lavender haze and white. Okay, and then to get it that dark, that bright purple, I put a wash of twilight on it. So these are the colors that I used. I thought about doing a green one, but I think tonight I'm going to do orange. So I'm going to do fresh mango and white in my sponge. And I'm going to be using a sea sponge, so I've got it soaking in some water, so it will be ready to go. So I'm just going to put some of this color out, and I used a light color and white were the colors that I used. I might have to put more out here in a minute, but we'll start with that. All right, my sea sponge here. I'm going to wring it out. Take some paper towels and get some of that excess moisture out of there. We just need it damp so it will release the paint. We don't need it thinning our paint. I have a bottle of paint adhesion but haven't used it yet. Oh, you should try that on some projects. You got anything, you know, that you want to paint up. So this is just a piece of a sea sponge. It's in terrible shape. Okay, so I'm just going to double load it here with the orange and the white. Okay, again, I'm going to work up here on the top and try and get a mottled look in here on the top. Put some orange in there, put some white in there, just kind of blend them together. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to put a second coat on here. I'm going to go ahead and go down on that just a little bit so I can fill that crack thing in there. Orange and white. Don't worry about the first layer, okay? We don't care how it looks. We just want to try and get all the pink areas some color on it. So right in there, I really need to push it in there. Okay. Well, let me dry this. I'm just going to set dry it so I can handle it. Might need a little bit brighter orange. I'm not sure that orange is bright enough for me. I've got some orange flame over here. I brought it just in case. That one ended up not being quite bright enough, so maybe we'll mix those two orange ones there. I'll make sure I can handle it and not remove the paint. So let's go to some white. I want white on my sponge, and we'll just put both those oranges on there. I definitely need more white paint out. My white paint seems very thin, but we'll work it out. Alright, here we go. It's just a texturing. Yeah, I like that other orange better. So when we do our second coat up there, we'll do that darker orange. That's definitely a prettier orange. You can mix them together as well. They don't, you know, just use whatever colors you want. It's going to look great no matter what you do. And, you know, you can use just a regular artist sponge too. You don't have to use a sea sponge. I just liked the texture that I got with this, and I felt like it made the background look more, I don't know, more cool, I guess. Alright, quick dry on that end so we can see the difference between the two oranges. Those two aren't too bad when they're mixed together. So, I don't know. I think a green one would be pretty, a red one would be pretty. Alright, back up here to our second layer. I've got a little bit of both of those oranges on there. It's a messy job here, but well worth it. Get some white back into that. A little white in there. I'm going to get this underneath part right here. Oh, you probably like to see what I'm doing. You got to be yelling at me. Say, you're not a camera shot, woman. Alright, I'm going to get that dry. Once we get it dry completely, we can see if, after we get our second coat on, we can see any places that we've missed. I just like the idea of taking it, starting out one color and changing it completely to another color. I mean, you can leave yours the color that it is if you want. Make sure it's dry enough for me to handle here. Get my orange paint and my white paint. Want both those oranges there. Alright. Just tap, tap, tap it on. Tap a little white, tap a little orange. Get that little mottled look on there. So cool. Do the back here. The orange on. Now I'm going to add some white in there. You don't have to worry so much about the back. I mean, it's the front that people are going to see. Let's see if there's any places I need to kind of touch up there. Alright, let's get this dry and we'll see if there's any places that need a little extra something something on it. Okay. It's just called, Donna asked what adhesion medium I use. It's just paint adhesion. Deco Art paint adhesion medium. Alright. It's a little warm. I'm going to let it cool just a second. I want to put a little bit more orange up there on that. It's still a little bit lighter. That looks much better. Put a white there. Put a white there. A little bit here. That looks pretty good. Let me get that dry. Except for, I'm going to get a little bit of orange. That little thing right there that pries the lid off. I definitely want orange on that. So, oh, put too much white back in there. Okay, there we go. Alright, let me dry that. Now, if you can still see some of your color through it, go back over it in a few spaces, wherever you can see that. Depending on what you're doing, if it shows through, it could add to what you're doing. Okay. Now the blue one that I did, I used a teal, I don't remember what color, I mean, 12 years ago. It'd be like turquoise blue now, or turquoise. So you could use that on there. Okay, I think I'm done with the sponge. I don't see any place that I want to go back over on this one. So I'm going to drop it back in the water and try and get some of this paint cleaned off my hands, because if it's tacky in any way and I hang on to that, it's going to possibly pull paint off of it. Yeah, it's a little messy. That's why, wear gloves. I don't normally wear gloves when I'm doing my painting unless I have a nice manicure that I know my paint is going to stick to it so bad I'm never going to get it off. But I generally just keep baby wipes handy, and then I just clean my hands off. But I want to make sure there's nothing on my hands to stick to that. Okay. So now with this one, I did a wash of color with Twilight to get that bright purple, because I started out with this light purple. Okay, and so this is kind of light too. And so what I thought I would do on this one is use Scarlet and use a little wash of Scarlet on here. So make sure you're dry and cool. Still a little warm. What did I do with my paintbrush? There it is. Okay. So I'm just going to sand that down with some water. Trying a camera shot here. A lot of water, not a lot of paint. And I'm just going to put that over the entire thing. I'll do the front side and give it a quick dry. Do my sides here. Just a wash. You know, a wash is mostly water. It's tinted water. Just depends on how much paint you put in the water to determine the tinting part of it. That definitely brightened it up, didn't it? Okay, let's get the back here. A little bit more water. A little bit more paint there. I didn't worry too much about how the back looked, to be honest with you. I mean, you want it to look nice all the way around, but I didn't overdo on the back any. I'll make sure inside there has got the glaze or the wash on it. No runny places. So kind of wipe it back with your brush if you see any place that's kind of runny. Just a wash on there. Alright, let's try that. A little bit of wash. Okay, that looks pretty good. You can add another wash on there if you want it brighter. I really almost feel like it could stand a little bit more of a wash down here. I kind of want it to be a little bit brighter. I'm going to end up painting that black, so I really didn't need to put a wash up there. I feel like this could be just a touch darker. Or brighter, I guess. Don't overdo it with the washes, though, because if you do, you're going to lose all that texture that you put on in the background. I just want the back to match the front. We're going to put black on the top. I didn't take the black all the way around. I just did the top and the edges. So I did just the top and the edges, kind of loosely, hit and miss kind of thing on the edges, you know, and then worked on all that. But first thing we're going to do is put a little moon over here. So I just put it on with a stencil. This is a 3/4 inch stencil. I put it on my website today. I didn't realize it wasn't on there. This is the stencil I use the most. It starts at a 1/4 inch and goes all the way up to 2 inches. When I'm doing a bouquet background, I'll just grab this one so I can have different sizes. But if I'm doing a bouquet background where it's just one particular size, I generally use this 3/4 inch one or this little bitty one that's a 1/4 inch. So, there's options on my website if you want a stencil. That's still a little warm. So I'm going to use a little piece of a sponge here. This is a makeup sponge. Okay, and I'm going to figure out where I want to put my moon. Now, I don't know if I'm going to paint this one exactly like this one. I might change it up a little bit. I might do 3 trees. I might add some birds. I don't know. That's where you get to be creative and decide how you want yours to look. So, let me get my paint out here. I need white paint. What do I do with it? Oh, it's over here. Yes, it definitely, the wash definitely brightens it up, Judy. You are right. Alright, so I'm just going to sponge a moon on here. Just wherever you want it. There's no right or wrong on here. You just do it. If you want to put a little orange in that moon right there, you can. Add a little orange to it. Or just keep it bright, whatever you want to do. So I just did it a couple times on there. Easy peasy. Alright, let's get some black. I don't use very many colors on this one. And on this one, really, I only used 2 colors. So, that one was super easy. Alright, let's get a small round brush, and you'll probably also want like a detail liner of some kind. All of mine look like the bristles are wild and crazy, so we'll see if they are going to work here. Alright, so we're just going to make some trees in here. I'm just going to do that first. Get the moisture out of my brush. So let's say I want a tree right here. So let's put a tree here. I'm going to let it get narrow as it gets up to the top. You can have it go up as high as you want. I do want to fatten my trunk just a little bit down here. Okay, and maybe a tree that comes way down here. You can add all kinds of things to your little Halloween scene here. Okay, well, let's put some little branches on here. I'm going to use this one to make some that are a little fatter coming off. And it can go right off the edge there. I'll use my thinner paintbrush to get some more detailed, thinner limbs. So with this one, I'm just going to make the more fat ones. And then I'll add some thinner ones at the top. I'll get this trunk a little bit fatter. Oh, I didn't think that was looking like black. That's soft black. I kept thinking that does not look like pure black to me. And I was right. It's soft black, but that's okay. I'm going with it. Okay, that was a fat branch right there, man. Okay, let's put a little shadow coming off of these. Definitely need some water in there. I would use black instead of soft black. Okay, there's our shadows. Alright, let's get some thin limbs on there. Hi, Verdi. Alright, I'm going to thin this down with some water. My soft black, that's not black. That's okay. Get the water off my ferrule. I don't want that rolling down there. And then you just create as many branches as you want. However spooky you want your tree limbs to look. Just have some fun with it. This is one of the easiest ones, but I think this one, you know, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I like to make the ends of the branches look more, on my Halloween type scenes, look more wispy. Make that one a little bit fatter. So right here, instead of a blunt end, let's give it some fun stuff. Maybe a couple of smaller ones down low here. I have to zoom in for you to see the details here. Okay, let's do a few on this one. Okay, that looks like a pretty good amount of branches on there. So now we need to do a little highlighting on some of those. I think before I do the highlighting, I want to do my horizon line back here. And so I'm gonna do it and up here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do all of my black at the same time. So I'm gonna grab me a makeup sponge. And since I started with soft black, I guess I'll just go ahead and go with soft black. Let me put a little bit more out. Okay, so just figure out where you want your horizon line back here. And I'm just going to tap a little bit in there, going one direction, and the other direction. And take the side that doesn't have as much paint, that doesn't have paint on it, and kind of tap that out. Actually, I think what I did was I put some water on my palette. I don't usually use water with these sponges, but I wanted that to be a little bit less solid in there. There we go, much better. Kind of gives the illusion, get my camera shot, the illusion of some distant trees or whatever going on back there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing up here on this curved part. I don't want it on my moon, so I'm my damp brush and get it off of my moon right there. Probably could have used a much smaller sponge. One that was already used up quite a bit. Okay, and then I just tap this around on this and made this dark up here. Went down a little bit on the edges. I'm going to have to use my paintbrush to get right there in that little groove. You can paint it on if you want to. I just wanted that texture on there. That's why I'm using a makeup sponge. So if you don't want that texture stuff on there, then there we go. Let's see, did I come down? I came down just a little ways on that one, kind of like I did here. But you can do the whole back side if you want. I didn't want to cover up all my hard work there. So when I did the sides here, I didn't do the whole edge. I just kind of tapped it to where it just, you know, put a little bit on there, but still left the orange on there. And then down here, I brought some of this onto the handle down here. So there's our sponging done. So now I want to make a mix of this white and soft black. And let's do some highlights on our trees here. Just a few, you know, like here and there. You can use a much smaller brush than I'm using. This is a 2 round. Just like some reflection stuff going on here. Although this is technically the back side of the tree, that wouldn't be getting the light from the moon. I still wanted it to have some highlight on it. I thought that helped a lot, having the little highlight on there. Let's see if we want to do some birds on here. I'll make this a little bit darker. Oh, I was doing the shadow a little bit darker. Okay. I think I might put a few little birds on here, but I took my white. Now this is optional. You don't have to do this, and you could do it before if you want, and just kind of, you know, put a little highlight on the grassy area back here. It's barely noticeable on my other one, but I did do just a little bit. You know, it just depends on if you want a little light bouncing on there or not. Totally optional, totally up to you. I have too much moisture in my brush because it's not leaving me any paint on there. And probably a smaller brush would work better here. Okay. It's a little bright. I mean, it's just little bit. Alright, let's do some little birds on this one so we can make it a little bit different than this one. I see one area I gotta fix here though. My shadow here. It to be coming straight off of that one. My trunk looked like it was round at the bottom. Okay. Let's see if we can get some little bitty birds on here. Some kind of birds. Some crows, some bats. I don't know what they are. We'll just make them some little bats. Let's see. Let's do. I'm trying to figure out where I'd like to have at least 3. So, not sure where I want to put the third one. I'll put it down there. So they're all kind of in the glow of the moon. Very, very, very subtle. Okay, I'm going to dry this, and I'm going to give you some options for varnish, because I have several different ways that you can, or not ways, but different stuff that you can varnish. Let me just tell you what I did on these. Might be more helpful. Those plastic things up there. Okay, so for this one here, right angle back out, I used, what did I use? I used this. I used matte varnish. Now, every single one of these has 3 coats of varnish. No matter what you do, 3 coats is important, okay? So your prep and your finish, both very, very important. Okay, so I used matte varnish on this because if I'd had an ultra matte, I probably would have used it, because I wanted this to look like an old piece of wood. So, but still, it looks good. I like it with the matte finish a lot. And this one has triple thick on it. Now, triple thick is a glaze. The difference between triple thick and varnish is you need to let each coat of this dry 24 hours. It's going to dry to a hard finish, okay? Self-leveling with this and with gloss varnish, high gloss varnish, you must have some moisture in your brush. You put it on a nice, I want to say heavy coat, but not overly heavy coat, okay? Put it on, brush it out, smooth it, make sure you don't have any runs, leave it alone. The more you play with it, the worse it looks. So triple thick, I love it. I've used it a lot. But a lot of people struggle with it because they're not using it correctly. These 2 here have high gloss on them. Okay. You can use a satin varnish on them as well. So, you know, it's up to you. Whatever kind of sheen you want to have, that's the one you want to go with. So I'm just going to use a gloss varnish, my high gloss varnish. And I'm going to use my paintbrush to put it on. It's going to take 3 coats. Now, if I wasn't doing this for you guys to do it quickly, I would allow each coat of this to dry 1 hour before I apply the next one. But I'm going to heat set mine and move on and get all 3 on. I will let it dry for at least 24 hours before actually using it at that point. But I recommend, you know, when you're doing something like this where you really want everything to stick to that plastic, give it an hour on, you know, just your regular varnishes. But on the triple thick, 24 hours. Okay, so I'm loading my brush up with water. And I'm just going to remove mostly what's on the ferrule there. I want a little bit of water in this so that I can move the paint quickly, or the varnish quickly. And then I'm just going to go in and put it on, and try not to overwork it. Try not to let it, you know, pool in there in too many places. I'm going to get it on, and then I'm going to check all the places I need to, you know, remove any thick amounts. Okay, now I'm looking for, make sure I don't have any runs anywhere. And here's kind of thick, so I'm going to take some of that out and wipe it on my paper towel. Right here is where you're probably going to get, in that area right there, where you're going to get some that might settle in there. So, you know, just remove it, maybe around these little nubby things there. Okay, so I'm going to quickly kind of set that, get it dry enough to handle, like I did with the paint. So this is a good time for, if you have questions, to ask me any questions if you have any. I like this orange. I am loving the orange. I thought the purple one was so cool, but I really like this orange. I think a bright green would be pretty too, so. And you can just paint straight orange paint. Of course, you know, this is the orange it comes. It's okay. Okay, let me see if that's dry enough to handle. Make sure this is not hot down here. Don't want my varnish to set. Okay, I'm going to put a nice, good amount on here. Do a little bit more. And smooth it out. Make sure I don't have too much up there. Get out of it. Flip it over. I have my brush well loaded with varnish. But you don't want to keep just going over it and going over it and going over it. High gloss and triple thick will self-level. So just get it on there and make sure you don't have any runs or thick places. You know, kind of remove those. Then just get out of it. The more you work it, the worse it gets. And, you know, except for things like this, I always apply my varnish with a sponge. Because I can get nice thin layers, and they'll dry very quickly. Okay, so that's one coat. I'm going to go ahead and get a second coat on here. Try and get this as finished up as possible. So some lucky person can win this one. So be sure and leave a comment if you want to be entered into the wheel of winners. I don't know what it's called. You know, put everybody's name in that wheel and then you spin it. Alright, give that a quick dry. This drying that I'm doing is just basically setting the finish. It's not curing the finish. Give it time to cure before you start using it. You know, we want to get in a hurry to use these things once we paint them, but, you know, give it time. I gave my original one plenty of time to dry. Love this project. Can't wait to paint them all up. Well, I can't wait for you to paint them all up too. I can't wait to see them. I'm looking forward to you guys being creative and coming up with some really cool ideas for these things, because they are lots of fun to paint up. And if you have like a chapter, you know, that you guys still get together, oh, these would make wonderful little gifts to give at Christmas. You all can, or just as a group, do them together, you know, get together and everybody paint their own thing on it. How fun is that? Alright, that's my second coat on there. So if you've got any questions about anything that I've used or anything I've done, this is a good time to ask those questions. What base color did you use for the one that looks like wood? I used almondine on that one, and that video will come out Sunday, so you can see how I did that one. But almondine was the base color for that one. I mean, you could use oyster beige, just anything that looks like it's going to be, you know, a weathered wood look, you know. Make sure that's a little warm up there, so I'm going to give it a second to cool, and I'm going to go ahead and get my third coat on, and then I will have this one completely done. Oh, that looks so good. I love the orange. I love the orange. What did I do with the purple one? Purple or orange? Oh, and I think the next one I'd like to paint is green. I like it with the 3 trees better than the 2 trees. Definitely 3 trees. And then adding the little bats or birds or whatever those are up there. Definitely the 3 trees are better. And make sure if you do 3 trees, even doing 2, don't put them in a row. Make sure that, like, this one's the lowest one on here and this one's the highest one. So make sure that you stagger where those trunks are. Don't put them in a row. Okay, let's get the last coat on here. Want as much protection on this as we can get. And then this will set. So yeah. So on my next live, I will be giving the name of, I'll be contacting the person that wins this. And then if they haven't responded in 24 hours, I'll pick another name. But I will only do that one time. You know, I'll just pick a second name one time. After that, it just goes back into the giveaway box. So if I send you an email, be sure and respond to it. Actually, I will probably contact you somehow on, if you're on YouTube, I won't have a way to contact you. I'll just have to put on there that you are the winner. I'll try to put it under your response so that it will contact me. Now see, I need moisture in my brush. That's wanting to drag there. I'm not sure I was completely cool enough to be putting that on there. Last coat. So pretty. Definitely not going to dry this completely. I'm going to just kind of tack dry it. Set it down and let it dry on its own. Okay, right there. Oh, I'm putting camera shot for you. That looks good. That's still really, really wet, but that looks good. I think the varnish on that one went on much better than it did on this one. I could put another coat on that one, but I'm not going to. Yeah. And this one I'm going to give away at Palooza. So if you're in one of my classes at Palooza, you might be a lucky winner. I love the orange one. It looks cool. Love them all, but I like the orange the best. Yeah, I like the orange because I like bright colors like that. So I think the orange looks really, really good. Really good, but that's still really, really wet down there. Okay, I'm going to take my sponge. Now, these sponges I use over and over until there's nothing left. I just cut the paint off the bottom. Now I've got a nice clean edge to use somewhere else. I cut them up into small pieces. So I don't ever use them like this. A lot of people use them flat like that. I guess if I was doing a big area, I'd do that, but I just don't. I like the texture I get when I use it like this. These are so unique. Thank you. I'm going to bring out the other ones. Let me wide angle out so you'll be able to see them all. Remove my varnish plate. And there you go. Lots and lots of fun with this one. It was one of my favorite things I've done recently. You know, getting out of my not wanting to paint kind of funk thing. So this was lots of fun. I just really just started coming up with ideas all over the place. So I was very happy, you know, when I got these done. It's like, oh man, I want to paint like 5 more. I think I've got 2 more over there for me to paint something on. So I don't know, maybe I'll have 4 for my Palooza classes. I don't know, but this one is definitely going to Palooza, and this one is definitely going to Palooza. So if you have one of my classes, you'll want to have one of my classes. These are so unique. Thank you. Gives them depth. Absolutely does. That varnish just like looks like the paint was on there originally, I think. can't wait to paint yours, Paul. I can't either. Please be sure if you paint one to tag me. Just do hashtag Lonna Lamb or hashtag Lonna Lamb Designs, and I'll see it. I'll get a notification and I will see it, and then I can see what you've been painting. Be sure and share your art with everyone. Everyone wants to see it. Okay, I'm going to make me bigger and turn this light off. And this light, maybe I won't have so much glare on me. There we go. Did you paint or ink when you did the beige one? This one. I did ink. Stays on ink. So on this video, I put a link. I put a link for an ink pad that is a Ranger ink pad because I couldn't find the brown stays on ink that I used on this anywhere. I have had that ink for a long time, and I couldn't find the ink anywhere, but I did find a Ranger brown that would look good on here. So if you have a brown stays on or a Ranger ink pad that's archival and it must be waterproof, you can use that. Yeah, this one, antique. I called this my antiqued. I get it in a shot where you can, it doesn't have a glare. I called this one my antiqued one because it kind of looks like antique. Kind of looks like I've taken it all over the world and I've gotten stamps all over it. So, because that's what I used. I used postage stamps on it, the cling postage stamps. Postage stamp, which I got on Amazon, and I put a link on the video for these stamps. Anything that I could think of that I used that you can't get on my website, I tried to put those links below on the video description, like for this one and for this one. So those should be on there. I love it. Thanks for the great tips. Explaining the why is so important. Yes. Thank you. I like to give as many tips as I can. Sometimes I repeat them in every single video or live, but they're important to remember. You never know when someone new is coming here to paint along with you. So, thank you for my order. Well, thank you for purchasing. So, like I said, I have 16 of these left on my website, and if it gets down to about 5 or so, I'll order some more in. I want to keep them on there as long as people want to get them. When people stop ordering them, then I may cut back on how many I have on my website. Don't forget, my website is closing in July 23rd, I think. And you can get 20% off of your total order on my website if you use coupon code SHOP NOW. I think I have that on here. Shop now. Shop now. 20% off your total order. So, you know, if there's anything on there you want, doesn't matter what you order. If it's already on sale, you're still going to get 20% off that. So, I've got to get stuff off of there because I don't know what I'm going to do once everything is, you know, if I want to redo it or what I want to do. All right, you guys, thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'll get everybody's name on my list for the comments and get your name on my wheel to see who's going to win this one that I painted tonight. Oh, I love, 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 love the orange. So pretty. So pretty. What a cute thing when you pull it out in class and people go, oh, where'd you get that? And you can say, I painted it. I mean, not me painted it. You painted it. So you need to get one and paint it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right, you guys. I think that's going to be it for this one. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing this with you guys. I think this guy right here might be my next live. So we don't have to wait for Halloween to do Halloween projects. This is on a 6x6. And it's a stencil. So it's a stencil on my website. Crow in the Moonlight stencil, I think is what it's called. So if you want to paint that with me, super easy. I loved it too as well. So I'm trying to think of all kinds of great things that I can bring you in different ways and different things. And so if you have any ideas, pass them along. Pass them along. Yeah, it's I'm trying to get all the fun stuff going. So, all right, you guys, that's it for me. I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Share this video, and I appreciate you all so much. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend. Watch for those other two bottle opener videos coming out tomorrow and Sunday, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye.